Hello and welcome to the Roxy Files. Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roxy Files. We are probably as close as back to regular schedule as we're going to get right now. Life seems a little upside down. We're late tonight because I had a grandma duty at the soccer field when the babies' recreation sports have started. I do have some of my voice back tonight, and I'm not all the way back, but we're a few minutes early. I know Big E's already here as usual. My sweet Big E was always early, and Miss K is here. Hey, Miss K, I saw your messages early. How have you been, Shannon?
Been hanging in there. It's been a roller coaster of a day, but
It's
you
been a
know,
roller coaster of a couple of weeks.
mm,
Hell, I'd say a couple of months.
amen to that.
It's like one big roller coaster around here. We got 9-year-olds asking amazing questions. I can't even remember what today's was. What was today's question while ago at soccer? Oh man, what was that question? Oh, she wanted to know why your fingers and toes pop when you do this. She wanted to understand why it made the popping sound. Like not just the explanation. She needed scientific like layout proof of I'm on the air, baby. The camera's on. And she walks in right this second. Hang on, I gotta get night sugars. Lady night.
See, I'm
Oh, we
dealing
gotta
with
say prayers.
teachers.
Oh goodness. We gotta say prayers. Okay, camera's off, everybody. Everybody gets to join in. Come here,
Oh,
give me hands and
cameras
you sleep.
off. Okay.
Where are you sleeping at tonight, baby?
Your bed.
You sleeping in my bed? Who said you could sleep in my bed?
Me.
Okay, we're gonna say our prayers, everybody. Everybody say prayers with us, because
Oh,
we've been having bad nightmares.
oh, none of that. Let's go.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask you tonight to protect our home, protect our health, and protect our Addie. We ask that you put a bubble of protection around this house, and that you look out for us, and that we rebuke any evil that comes into this house. Any demons that come near this house will be rebuked, they will be pushed away, and they will be forever kept away from Addie and our family. We ask this in your name, our Heavenly Father. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Good night. Get in my bed. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry.
Okay.
We've been having like really bad nightmares of a slender man around here for a few nights ever since her her little brain woke up is what we gonna put that on. But we hope everybody's doing good out there tonight. I see a few are in the room. We were a few minutes early coming in. We thought we'd give everybody a chance to get here. So Shannon, we are on our final countdown for the trip out west.
Final countdown. Do-do-do.
So
Do-do-do.
y'all are gonna get to see me, Shannon, and Lisa, and Rye, and probably Ryan, and who knows who else. And we're gonna film some episodes. We're gonna get some footage. We're gonna do some filming on some of the things we go and do. Because this is very unique. This whole idea of us all getting together came up, got talked about, and came into fruition within a matter of what, a week, 2 weeks, Shannon? It was like bing, bang, boom, we're going to California.
I'm telling you, the second you even brought it up at all, I had a dream that we were adventuring out here. So I knew it. I knew it.
We knew it. We are bound to be together in the same space. If we have no strings, no advertisers, no promoters. This show costs us money. We don't make anything. We don't have enough subscribers yet. So if you're not subscribed, go down below and subscribe to Children of the Most High or the Roxy Files, whichever one you're watching on, and then go subscribe on the other one because we need you on both channels. We need 500 subscribers before we can get to any type of monetization. So between now and then, if you would like to help out, there's a link on the screen. You can buy me a coffee with that link. You can buy Shannon a coffee with her link. These are going to be our funds for California. Because by the grace of the good Lord, the airline and the cabin has been paid for. It was taken care of. Um, so now all we got to do is have food when we get there. Well, and tattoo money.
And gas.
And tattoo money, yeah.
And gas.
And gas.
And gas.
And gas.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pick
And
us up at the airport.
this is a birthday gift to me as well, because my birthday is next week. So it's just belated.
Well, see, we're all just going to have like one day and we celebrate all of our birthdays together because we never get to see each other the rest of the year
That,
other than through FaceTime. So we'll just have like a birthday night.
that means cake.
That means cake. I'm all about cake. We're excited, guys. We're like 3 weeks away from going. If that plane was leaving in the morning, you can believe we'd all be on it. We're excited. We got some cool things to see and do while we're out there. Well, we are about at the 8:30 hour. We got a few people in here. Welcome everybody. Hi Don Hester. Haven't ever seen you in here before, I don't think, but welcome. I don't see Mike. Has anybody heard from Mike today? I've not heard from Super Mike.
No.
And I know Clayton's probably on his way home from work. But anyway, they'll watch us later if they're not on here. Cash, you're usually in the audience. Hello, darling. I've
Hi,
almost got my voice back.
if you're out there.
He's usually out there. He just doesn't say anything very much.
But, greetings and salutations.
Puff, puff, pass, everybody. Here we go. Last week, we focused on the new kids on the bus because quite a few of us have been awake longer than others. Our understanding might be deeper or further along than others. But we have to remember that Father does not want us to leave the others behind. They need a little guidance. They may need a hand to hold. And they may need some instruction. This is my opinion and my theory. The awakening process is not about telling others anything. It is about showing them a direction to something they need to go find for themselves. Part of the thing of this is you have to have the curiosity of a child. You can't come into this with the conception of, I already know that, because you don't. And when you hear something, you hear a theory. I don't care who tells it to you, whether it's me or Shannon or Daniel or anybody or some other YouTuber or whatever. If you hear one of their theories or a fact, I want you to remember this word, maybe. When they tell you a story or a piece of history or a piece of knowledge, when they're giving it to you, rather than just accepting what they're giving you to digest, I want you to keep in your mind the word maybe. Maybe keeps you objective. It gives you the inquisitive ability to go find the receipts for yourself. Because being handed information is just like being handed this poisonous food they're handing us. You're just taking what you're given. You don't have true understanding and depth until you go research it and find all of the puzzle pieces for yourself. Because there's a million puzzle pieces, and one you picked up 6 months ago will end up coming back and matching this one. And you're like, that makes so much sense now. But if you didn't do the research back here, you're not going to understand the chapter of the book when you get up here. Because quite a few people are several chapters behind us.
A prime example of this, right? So we've discussed before how a lot of information on the internet just kind of falls away and it just somehow is poof gone, like it never existed. But like that you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I remember exactly this and exactly this. Well, there are a lot of these videos that in my beginnings of my start in all of these things about 13 years ago, that I had come across that had just mind blowing information that has been now, fits into all these other things. But while trying to explain all this stuff to you or show it in the show for anyone who hasn't stumbled down those paths before, it's been like impossible to find these videos because they were taken down a long time ago, but their
Hmm.
info was good. I've been praying and praying and praying to find this one video for literal years, still actively searching for it at least once a month. Our buddy Clayton sent it to me yesterday. No clue. And I'm like, not only did it, yes, exist, and it's still out there, but I'm like scouring everything to try and find the original video for this.
But wait a minute now. He's coming from an IP address of a different country.
Exactly. And I'm like, but now I finally have screenshots for, for my research, for my files. And it was like, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Clayton. He had no clue. And he was like, no way. As I was talking about stuff. And then there you go. There's the information that I've been looking for years that now I can show you guys can tie into these other things.
Mike's in the house. Hey, Big Mike. We were wondering where you were. But yeah, those old puzzle pieces tie in nicely to some of the ones now. And when we learn some of the things now and you go back, you understand how it all fit together. Like today, um, hang on, I'll put this up on the screen. Today when I was sitting here, and yes, the screen looks different tonight because we have a good portion of our audience that is watching from a cell phone. And so we're trying this. If you guys like the screen better the other way, let me know and I'll flip it back next time.
I, was kind of wondering about that. And I didn't even ask you. I
Well,
just assumed you had a plan, which you
well, this is supposed to be more friendly for our cell phone users, and about 78% of our audience is watching from a cell phone device. So I was
would.
trying to make it more phone friendly. We
Gotcha.
can go back the other way if we need to. I thought we'd try it tonight. I'm not crazy about this, especially in presentation mode, because it just ain't big enough. But anyway, today when Shannon and I texted her earlier, I said, "Hey, let's touch on unlearning." Unlearning means that you need to rethink almost, if not everything you've ever been taught, from why you do things the way you do to how you do things to things you've been taught in school. First off, if you want to know why you were taught those things in school, that's going to take you back to Epstein. And yes, if anybody new out there that doesn't know that, you will soon figure out that Ghislaine Maxwell's father is the one who owned, edited, and wrote your school books. Same pedophile, Satan worshiping, baby eating monsters we talk about all the time. Yes, they wrote your school books. Yes, they designed the schools and the prison. They are almost identical for a reason. But there are many other things you need to overcome and you need to look into to begin with. I just listed a few things that were important to me. You can screenshot this when you go down your your list of things. And Shannon, if you've got more you can think of, by all means add them. These are not in order. These were just some of the things that when I went back and thought about some of the things that maybe I wish I'd have had the, you know what I mean, the ABC or maybe a list.
There is something that I kind of wanted to throw in there and bring up that we haven't even talked about, but it was reintroduced again with me yesterday with that video that our buddy sent us. And it's about backmasking. One of those things that, they told you wasn't real, but we've found out years later that, oh, yeah, backmasking is a thing. And I thought you would really like this because he then sent me this really cool video where I was like, okay, I did so much research on backmasking because I had a scenario in my testimony with all the visions where I kept hearing these songs over and over and over again by two specific artists who I don't ever listen to, but I'm sure I've heard their songs like playing in the background in other places or at work, who knows, you know? And it was the same song over and over again, but it was like it was the real song of the, you know, it was like a backmasked song already within the music that they had. And so I went on this whole thing, and then you learn about the Beatles, of course, and the whole fake Paul thing and the backmasking stuff in the Beatles albums that these students found, and then people told them they were crazy and you're just making stuff up, and then you find out about Led Zeppelin and all these other, you know, bands. Judas Priest even had a whole court case about it because kids did bad things and said it was because of their music and the backmasking and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing, I had no idea that you could backmask everyday speech and just anybody, and you find out the truth of all of the, like, of what they are really talking about. You can find out if they're lying, what their emotional thing is for real. And this one scientist has gone so far as to find out that a lot of this stuff he believes comes from God himself, like the most high, especially when coming out of children, because there's um, evidence that he has, even with his own 4-month-year old at the time, backmasking her babbles, and she clearly says hello. You know, it's really fascinating. So I just thought you would probably think it was super cool because you could play back certain messages that you got and be like, what's the real message behind this? But
Well, and
I didn't, you know, I always thought of it as like, oh, the evil ones use it, the evil ones use it. But you know what? God uses it too. And every day, like the spirit speaks in this manner and you don't even realize it. I just thought that was kind of neat.
well, I've noticed a few songs lately, stuff that I've listened to for a while. You know, they're on like your playlist or your like list or whatever. And I don't know if I'm hearing new things or if it's there before and I just didn't pick up on it. But there is a couple of songs that I have actually heard, like a Morris code type stuff in the background. There's a guy that I watch JT Follows JC. He's a podcaster. Him and Demon Erasers. There's a guy that's on the show with them. His channel is called Tune Thy Heart, and he's like an audio engineer, and he
Mhm.
talks about the physical difference between the 440 and the 432 hertz and why it was changed. And that's something people need to go look into.
Yeah.
If you don't know about the difference in the hertz of music and what it can physically do to your body and your brain, your mood, all of that. Um, and we're only gonna hit like highlight touch things. These are for the new kids on the bus. Frequency, sound. It If you'll go back and look at these massive historic cathedrals, those were not churches, folks. Those were hospitals. That's why there are organs inside of cathedrals. Those organs, which are like the organs in your body, it's a vibrative resonance at a loud enough volume in a building built like a cathedral with absolute perfect harmonics to heal you at a cellular level.
Cathedral, cathode.
Yep.
It's in the word. It's
Check
in
your
the
etymology, folks. Your etymology is everything.
word.
And another thing that they had in those buildings were bells, and those bells were huge. And people would gather in the cathedral and they might praise and worship there, but the organs and the bells, and this is where people came to heal themselves. The same frequency that those bells put off is the exact some of the exact same frequencies they use to pop kidney stones inside of you. So if you have any trouble believing in the frequency and what frequency can affect, uh, sorry, my driveway alarm's going off. I was not expecting anyone.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Well,
we are cautiously watching who this is. Anyway, um,
I
the
was gonna bring up too when you're talking about frequency and that kind of thing. You know when you're talking about sonograms
mm-hmm.
and what that actually does to your unborn child within you is actually something more people need to study. It's actually quite traumatic for the baby
Oh
because of
yeah.
extreme sound frequency going off inside of, you know, its safe place, its cocoon while it's still developing. I wish I would have known these things while I was carrying my children, but of course, you know, you live and you learn. But something to I'm passing down to my children.
Carry it 1 second. I gotta check
All
that.
right, you got it. But yeah, so a lot of these buildings had resonance properties using frequencies, frequency and colors, patterns, sound. All of these things work together. But it's kind of like the construct of the cityscape in, nowadays, as we know more and more of the ancient layouts of, you know, the pyramids and various places and all these ancient buildings that we know come from floods and like pre-flood era and things along those lines. You realize that the entire layout is very much so an energy harvesting scenario. These buildings, these structures, they are antennas in certain ways. So it even goes beyond just the inner healing of being in these buildings, like the entire cities were layout of energy, either harvesting or um, gathering. That's a good way to put it. You good, girl?
Little distracted. Don't know who that was. We'll
Okay.
figure that out shortly.
Mm.
All I can tell him is that no trespassing sign in the driveway explains everything you need to know. There's two options when you come up here: this way or flat of your back zipped up. Don't matter to me. Try me. Not playing tonight. Anyway, sorry.
It's all good.
um, well, and like the bell thing. If anybody has seen the movie Spider Man with Venom in it, you see that once the black goo of venom gets on Spider Man, the only way to break it free is when the bell rings. The sound frequency was causing the parasitic goo to release from Spider Man.
Mm.
Hey, Super Dave, we saw you in here. Um, the bells are important in the in the one of the Van Helsing movies. These bells play a much larger theory of everything in sound frequency and healing and things of that nature. And the organs that were in these churches and cymatics, when you get into frequencies, then you got to turn around and start thinking about 5G and Wi-Fi and the possibility of 6G coming. What is the name of Daniel's Operation Radiation?
Operation Radiation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over on Logic Before Authority.
Excellent documentary that he created.
Yeah, Daniel's got a good one over there if you've never seen that. And it explains to you that each time they came out with a technology for, broadcasting radio signals, and every time it kicks it up a notch, there's a massive health crisis that goes along with it.
Which
Um,
makes you think about the data centers and when they get all charged
oh,
up.
and them bad boys gonna get to humming. It's gonna be like a microwave sitting on the property next door.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's something you've not ventured down, I beg that you go venture down frequency and things of that nature.
Before you steer away from this topic, have you ever thought about the Liberty Bell?
What about it?
Like the storyline that we were given about it,
I haven't looked back into it, but I don't trust any storyline they gave me.
right? I wonder because it was supposedly, I can't remember the whole story, but the way it got a crack in it to me, like their storyline with it never made sense to me. And I wonder if it was purposely destroyed because it
Oh, I'm
had
sure.
some purpose, but it's used as a symbol of, the
Mhm.
beginnings of America. And
Well,
I'm just curious if
well,
there's
girl,
something.
you couldn't have hit it any more on the head than the next thing on the list for the new kids. Hey, new kids, history is written by the winners. The winners does not mean the righteous. It just means who had more soldier or military power or money or backing. It has nothing to do about who's right or wrong. But whoever wins is the one that will write history. Follow the money because the money always takes you to the war machine, whether it be a corporation, a group of people, or a government entity. It's always about the money. There's more going on about the money right now over there in the Middle East than these nuclear weapons and everything else. There's only so many places in the world that you can filter, funnel, and launder massive amounts of dirty money. London, Iran. London runs off of what they call a repo market. It's a whole lot, but we might have to have Tracy on here to explain all of that. But there's a lot of this going on with Iran, like Iraq. Iraq and Iran are massive in the financial hacking and just hackers in general. Like, who you think all them people is that when you calling in to your car insurance and they know speak either good English? These are people offshore. FYI pro tip, if you ever call somewhere and you can't understand what that person is saying, tell them you want onshore customer service. They have to transfer you to somebody who is onshore of the United States of America. Just FYI.
Good to know.
Onshore customer service. But yeah, winners write history. They create the problem, create the chaos, and then sell you the solution. That is their whole business plan. You can see it.
It's written on the money
Oh,
order.
yeah. I mean, you can even see it in the Epstein files. Satan's hemorrhoid and his friend's old Billy there, they decided they was going to create a virus, unleash the virus, make a vaccine that they inserted some of Satan's hemorrhoid's genetic material in for everybody to get. They made money on it through A, B, and C, much less the rubber band effect to the economy, all of the money they hedged on bets in the stock markets before this happened, because they had already studied this. They knew which businesses were going to thrive and which businesses were going to fail, what the banks were going to do. They had already hedged their money on it. This was nothing more than a dang horse race to these people. And they might get rid of some of the goyim in the outlook because they don't like poor goyim, especially ones that have health issues or anything, because you're just not a high producer. Just saying.
Yeah, now that I'm no longer on their Black Awakening list, I'm screwed.
Yep.
Yay. That's okay, because I got Jesus. My God's bigger than yours. That's
Okay,
right.
girl. All right. Next point on the list, the Bible that you were raised on, taught on, or have in your home right now. Who edited that book? If you don't know who had their hand in editing the version of Our Father's Word, you might want to go look into it. because if you were like the majority of us in America, you're looking at the King James Version. You might want to go look into who that depraved bastard was.
It's important to bring this up because there is a whole battle actually out there, like this sub battle with the Christian community and all the many denominations and all the many separate things we want to separate ourselves with, right? Well, there's a big movement of people who are like only King James, Bibles, because that's the only true one. And they're hardcore staunch on it. And they're kind of almost culty, you know what I mean? So if you are trying to search into where you're getting correct information, because the Mandela effect, which we may get into right on
Yep.
this, because that has proven that there are continuous Bible changes still happening to this day, but there have been changes that have been going on for a long time. And King James, who was into some really gnarly things in the background and also wrote some books about demonology,
Hmm. This man drug
right?
his own mama out in the street and had her beheaded because she spoke out against him having homosexual orgies in the den of dogs where he kept his hunting dogs, while he kept several women locked up upstairs and would send them food and go by and essentially forcibly wrestle with them, trying to make an heir. And we say wrestling in the most best term.
Oh my gosh, doesn't that sound like Satan's hemorrhoid?
It does. Why, you mean, Shannon, that the man that might have edited the King James Version of the Bible has some very, very similar traits to Satan's hemorrhoid?
It makes me again wonder and bring up the whole idea of where is the surname Epstein really derived from?
Yeah, we need our neighborhood investigators, guys. That's one of the things we need to dig into. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? Who are his parents? Where did he come from? Why is he here? Because there are multiple characters throughout history that look like Satan's hemorrhoid. That don't happen by accident. There are no coincidences. So who is this man? Shannon and I are on this thing of understanding that there are multiple evil deities which are trying to gather followers and souls. And it's like he who has the most toys wins. And it's like these evil demons climbing up to the top of a ladder. But in order to go up the pyramid, they need more souls. They need to suck more souls and more energy to climb.
More blood sacrifice.
Yes. Yes, King James was a Mason,
Mm-hmm.
among many other things. He was also a homosexual who killed his own mama and conspired with her sister, the Queen of Scots, before he did it. He got the Queen of Scots' blessing to do it.
I would say, even beyond just, see, I look at these people or beings. Okay, I wouldn't even say people.
Yeah.
Like they do everything. Remember how pansexuality was like this huge thing for a while, right?
Yep.
What is that? What is pansexuality? Pansexuality is we will diddle anything and everything. And
There
what
is
is
no.
right? And what's the first part of the word? Pan. The god Pan who diddled everything, and especially children and animals and men, women, everything. That is what it derives from. They do everything. It's all perverse and
Yeah, they're not above bestiality.
demonic charging of stuff that is right in the line of the depths of the pit of hell. So yeah. I was like, okay, I'm off my soapbox.
No. This is just one of the examples.
Mm.
If you don't know who edited the book you're reading, regardless of whether it is a book on poetry or music or religion or history. If you don't know who the author was, who decided that book needed to be written, what was the purpose or the narrative of that book, you got to remember everything they throw at you on television, in the movies, in your music, in the books you're reading, in what they teach you in public school. That narrative is put there for programming. They are programming your mind. And if you were a child in a gifted and talented, or a tag program, or an advanced college prep kind of program in elementary school, you were being programmed. It was like the sorting hat for Harry Potter. They were trying to figure out which house you would go in. Did you fit in Slytherin or did you fit in Gryffindor? And it really depended upon your personal attitude. I had a major attitude, so they were done with me.
Something I wanted to add into this that we kind of haven't brought up before is growing up. I don't know generational wise, but like us kids from the 80s and 90s, I was like born in the early 80s. And, in childhood, I was really obsessed with certain, films over and over and over again. Like I'd watch it over and over and over again, which is something your kids do. Like all of us who have had kids have then seen our kids end up watching like a certain film or like a cartoon or something just over and over and over again until they have it like memorized. Well, there's actual documentation out there where it talks about like the Wizard of Oz and certain other classic films where if you identify, like you're obsessed over a specific character, you identify the most of this character, that is the programming that they have been pushing upon you. Is very fascinating. Like I was obsessed with Glenda the Good Witch. I just wanted to be the nicest person in the whole world, and I just thought she was so beautiful and elegant and so nice and blah blah blah. But I watched that movie over and over and over again, drove my mom nuts.
You don't want to know what my opinion of Wizard of Oz was when I was a child.
Oh really? That's so fun. But a lot of us, even like Disney films, like a lot of sing-alongs, there was all these offshoot VHSs of like sing-alongs and stuff like that. I mean, Peter Pan sing along, like all kinds of stuff that we would just constantly watch over and over again. But you find out later that there's actual government documentation of these specific, like you being identifying as this character. This is your program that they're pushing you on. It's very fascinating. But Wizard of Oz was one of the top ones. And
See, when I was a child, I couldn't watch Wizard of Oz because I thought, as a child, you don't understand everything that goes into the making of a movie. But I thought the girl that was playing Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz was an airhead. And I just didn't think that she was real bright and that she was handling the whole situation the best way possible.
which character did you identify most as?
None of them, they were all dumb.
At all.
They
Like,
had horrible chess skills. Like life is chess. It is not checkers. You need to be playing 5D chess with a Texas Hold'em poker face in life. This is the way I take on life. Like if there's a problem, I've got to look at it from a military strategic standpoint as to how to best attack, identify, organize, and attack this problem.
right?
And I just did not see any of that in any of them characters because they just did not seem intelligent to me. I thought it was a dumb show. That and what is the movie with the Oompa Loompas? Willy
Oh,
Wonka.
Willy Wonka. Oh,
I
you
thought
mean Charlie
right.
and the Chocolate. Yeah, Willy Wonka. I kind of was obsessed with that as a kid too. Loved it. Loved it.
Which
Mhm.
no, see, musicals were not a thing that were going to be played in our house. My dad was not listening to a musical. Honey, if it weren't NASCAR and Dale Earnhardt, it was not being played on our TV. Don't turn on no ball game. Don't turn on no musical. We don't tolerate that in this house. you better hear the cam running in that motor if we gonna watch something on this TV. It's gonna be
Yeah.
going around the track or up and down the track.
Remember, I grew up performing nonstop, so that was just in it in my DNA. It's just yeah. But again, I'm one of those who don't listen to theater music on my own to jam out to. It's either I'm in it or
There's a couple of musicals I actually jam out to. And I'm not
oh,
even gonna say those out loud because that would be embarrassing. But anyway, okay.
Phantom of the Opera does not count. We all love Phantom of the
No, no,
Opera.
no. I like Greatest Show on Earth
Oh well, that's
with
also
Hugh
there's
Jackman.
a few songs in there that are
There's a
still like
few, yeah.
like there's a few. There was one in the '80s called Chess, and they had a big old hit on the radio, and I love that song too. So it's all good. Like there's some songs that come out. Oh, dude, they turned what is it, Across the Universe into a really cool musical. Like the film, then it was all musical, but it was like really good, and they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I just don't have the patience for a musical kind of thing. I don't know. I just like Frozen, and Frozen may have broken me. My baby niece, she was my first niece.
Was it over and over again?
We prayed that they would take that TV, like just remove it from the world. It could have been one of the Mandela effects, like it never happened, and my feelings wouldn't have been hurt. Because
Oh,
if I had to hear her "Let It Go" one more time, like she was a baby, she was like 4, 5ish. So that was just like she would stand up in front of the room, and she was so beautiful when she done it. But about the 900th time she screamed "Let It Go" out of tune, I was just at the losing it point. But yeah,
over and over and over
yeah,
again.
my kids were stuck on Barney. Ugh.
Oh, no,
Speaking of dinosaurs, see, look at there. That led right into the next one.
Barney.
New kids on the bus. Listen up. We got a secret for you. Dinosaurs were not real. They were dragons. You need to
Dragons are the real ones. Dragons.
go. If you want to know how dinosaurs were dragons, the first clue you can go get is go look at a X-ray of an ostrich versus a T-Rex, and you will then see that his little T-Rex arms were just where his wings went. If you will look back in Chinese history and many other histories, you will see where they said that the bile out of the gallbladder of a dragon would help a woman to deliver a baby if she was having complications. Like they talked about the medicinal remedies in the organs and the blood of the dragon. They killed them all. That's why there is no more. They killed them all. They're
Well,
extinct.
and here's another good example, right? Like on the Chinese zodiac, right? Every single one of the representations on that zodiac is a real animal. It really exists. But why out of nowhere would they just put some imaginary creature on that if it wasn't real? Because
It's on all these coats of arms, Chinese calendars. They're everywhere. Just one day, somebody, okay, I will explain to anybody out there who doesn't understand. The reason they won't tell you that dinosaurs were dragons is because if they told you they were dragons, you would understand that there was a supernatural side of the world, which is what they've hidden from you with the missing books of your Bible. But in order to put dinosaurs into our timeline, that was to con you into believing into evolution. That's all that was for. They needed that to place it in there on a timeline of evolution. Because if you can believe in evolution, then it questions whether you believe in our Heavenly Father.
yeah.
It will make you question things. And it is a lie. It was constructed to make you question your own self. Every bone you've ever seen in these museums are not T Rex bones, those are plaster casts. They're not real bones.
Mhm.
The real truth is buried up under the Vatican in the Smithsonian Institute. And I've already been promised that when this goes down and we get to start flipping some serious tables, that I get to help kick the doors in on those two institutions to go look. I can't wait. Where's my glasses? See, I can't wait. I cannot wait because there are so many lies that have been perpetrated to us. There are so many things in your history that you've never even paid attention to. I was never a history kid in school.
Really? I was.
No, girl. I was a smoking in the parking lot kid. I didn't want to pay attention to nothing they had because I felt like the teachers that were teaching me were just reading out of a book. Like I'm like fourth or fifth grade, and they're already starting to write on my thing. Ask too many questions. Like that's what my report card says every year. She asked too many questions. I thought that's what I went to school for, was to learn.
I just had a lot of fun with that, and I would always do weird, random research projects on like the weirdest history possible. That I would be like, but this was real, you know? I mean, like I was, especially like mythology and stuff like that. Girl, I was like,
See, they would tell me stuff at school, and I go home and talk to my grandma about it. And my grandma would tell me, she said, "Don't listen to people; they lying to you." And so when I go back to school, I'm like fourth or fifth grade, and the teacher give us a test, and I would answer it my way, and she would mark it wrong. And I said, "No, ma'am, you were wrong. My grandma said you lying to me." And you know what? My grandma was right. They was lying to me. They was lying the whole time. She was right. They was wrong.
Sounds like someone little around you that all the little questions.
Yep, having them grandma situations with questioning children. Thanks, Shannon. I hadn't thought about that one, but thanks. That makes sense now. I understand the role a little better. Unicorns. If you've never heard me ask the unicorn question before, when I say the word unicorn, what is the image that comes to your mind? Most of you will say a horse with one horn out the top. Why? Why is that what you see? Have you ever seen a unicorn? Do you know if unicorns are purple or white or green or yellow or rainbow colored? We don't know. We don't know if they poop glitter. I mean, we just don't know. We suspect.
I will say something interesting in the dragons and unicorns universe. Both will be found on the royal coat of arms in certain bloodlines.
If you will look at many, many tapestries, you will see unicorns. You will see dragons. You'll see griffins. You'll see all kind of creatures. If you go back and read the missing books of the Bible, the ones you were never introduced to, the ones they took out were the ones that showed you supernatural things. They have convinced us all that supernatural things do not exist. Hey, Diana, that they do not exist, that they're not real, that's only in the movies or on TV shows or the X-File or Supernatural with Sam and Dean. No, baby cakes, go out there and watch Supernatural with Sam and Dean. Open your eyes, open your ears, and stop listening to the narrative that you've been told your whole life by a government ran by satanic baby-eating pedophiles that want to keep you blind and dumb. Keep drinking the fluoride water, keep eating in the poisoned food, and keep sucking in this poisoned air they're giving you.
Something that's really important while we're on this subject matter of believing the lies, I have to say something that has been driving me up the freaking wall. In this in this certain situation we're all dealing with worldwide because of the situation with rockets and whatever, okay? The big wigs doing their war dance. There has been so much misinformation, disinformation absolutely wild nonsense that has been out on the internet pertaining to this situation right now. And since we are understanding more and more now how much they lie to us and how intensely above our pay grade AI really is in reality, please, please go research and vet these things for yourself before you go running off with something that's happening in this particular situation. And I've talked to military, like ex-military, who were high up in chains saying, like, what is with this? I have never seen anything like this. I mean, not even during this time. Okay. It is absolutely mind-blowing. So please, please, please vet your information before you roll with it. This is something that we're really working on. This is why we haven't touched much on any of this, because the stuff out there is wild. We got to make sure any information that comes out of our mouths is very well researched and vetted to the most.
And we got receipts.
So
we don't, we're never trying to steer you guys in a wrong direction or any particular direction. Any theory we ever come up with, please go find your own receipts. If you can prove me wrong, bring it to me. Because anytime I look at anything, I try to approach it from the maybe. Maybe this is the truth. But until I find a concrete evidence, otherwise, this is my theory. If anything we ever talk about, if you got different information, bring it. Let's talk about it. Because we are never here to have a conflict. We are here to have a conversation. We are a family.
Right. I just wanted to really bring that up because, again, I mean, I've been doing weird random research on this internet for quite some time, and honestly never seeing anything like this before, but seeing how it's like exponentially ramping up, I'm like, whoo, y'all better hold your onto your seats, man. It's just priming you for the invasion of
Well, I keep making connections between Satan's hemorrhoids files and all the people in it that he conversated with on a regular. Now, just because somebody's name was mentioned in there 200 times doesn't mean that old Jeffy boy was talking with them. He might have been talking about them to somebody else. So you have to be careful. Like there was somebody the other day and I looked it up and it said their name was mentioned 14 times. None of that was direct communication. That was old Jeffrey boy and one of his buddies trying to line it up so they could get that person pulled in to the whole thing, and that person kept refusing. So don't just look up somebody's name and say there's 14 hits and assume that that person is in there, because this person was adamantly doing everything in their power to stay away from them. They always had an excuse. They were always somewhere else or had something to do. But hello, Leslie, if you start looking at who his connections were, there are some major AI and tech connections in his circles. These people don't rub elbows with each other for no reason. If old Jeffrey boy was calling your name, that's because he had dirt on you or somebody else had dirt on you. And they were going to use that dirt to push their agenda.
I found things in those files that went all the way to the little town I grew up in, which houses the government's mapping source, like all the maps that you get in the government and pretty much everything now, because they have contracts with Google Maps and all that stuff. They apparently had a nice big old convention there, and we're talking certain entities that you would never suspect on panels together, talking together in these conventions in this space, that opens up so much more into the AI stuff. And it was all about the World Wide Web. It was the major World Wide Web convention here, and they decided a lot of important things. And they had people like Matt Groening and Michio Kaku and other neurological scientists and other tech Simi Valley bros all on a panel together, along with musical artists and entertainers, and even David Blaine. Okay, David Blaine. Okay.
David Copperfield has got some serious mentions
Yep.
up in old Hemorrhoids Files.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's all kind of like dudes coming out in
Married a
Vegas talking about
supermodel.
how they were abused by him.
Yeah, married a supermodel. The whole modeling industry, okay, especially from like 80s through the 90s, that was all Satan's hemorrhoid. I mean, I wouldn't say all of it. He was just managing it like it was his baby. He
Well,
was
and
notoriously known for having a harem, like notoriously. That was
and we have to get the point across that you have people that are magicians or musicians or whatever they are. They come up along, and when they want to be, when they're willing to sell their soul and be elevated, they get paired with another person, a mate, a female or a male, who is also doing the same thing or is a handler, like that blonde headed woman with the big blue eyes.
one thing I will say though, right? In this particular scenario, Matt Groening, Simpsons. Can I ask you first off? Okay, we all know there's been a million predictions in this show series, which it is the longest ongoing television series of all time at this point. I looked this up. But how many AI mock-ups have you seen out there on the internet? Oh, the Simpsons predicted this and blah 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 blah. But it's all an AI generated mock-up. But it's going off of the whole idealism that we all know it does a lot of predictive programming. It's not by accident.
Oh, absolutely. It's not by accident. And you really got to be careful with what you're watching. This is one of the things that we track. Sorry. We track um we track the dissemination of information disclosure. And okay, like right now, what is one of the popular topics that we heard crap about 2 months ago? What was it? We were talking about it the other day. Um, what was it? We just had this conversation. I can't remember. Anyway, all of a sudden, when like something is disclosed and it starts coming out, we can go back and realize a couple of months ago that question was being populated a lot on TikTok or Reels or YouTube or Facebook on the shorts. I can't even remember what it was. Shannon and I just talked about this. But and then 2 months later, you see the information go blam.
Yeah.
So then we wonder, is the question we heard 2 months ago, was that like a preemptive to soften us to the disclosure, or so that we would have a better understanding of what was about to be disclosed? There is a master plan to all of this. None of this is happening just by happenstance. None of it.
Too, I do think it's a big part of that bound by oath to show things in a subconscious manner for silent consent and conditioning. Something you know, conditioning is a very touchy subject because a lot of people don't want to own up to the fact that when struck with something very traumatic, it does something to shut them down, to accept what's happening, to keep them silent, to just keep them focused and going in on their own path. So, because they cannot mentally comprehend or just emotionally comprehend that information. That's something they count on. But no matter what, they have to show it to you. They have to tell you their plans in some way, shape, or form. Now they've loved to confuse you with all kinds of different random stuff because so many of us are on to the truth. So they have to ramp up a whole new notch where they got to just make up some absolutely wild stuff, which then again just makes us look like we're one of them. Like, all forever. I cannot tell you how many people have compared us to like Alex Jones or something. I'm like, don't you put that shill in my mouth. Mm-mm. No, don't you dare. He has said a lot of truth and a lot of things because that's what he's supposed to do. But there's
But
a
it's the
lot of
80-20 mixture.
a lot of ridiculous in it that makes it muddies the waters for those of us really coming out with the truth and receipts.
And I have decided I think I really want to start pushing because everybody they've called us conspiracy theorists. Well, first off, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore if we're 37 and 0. I mean, just come on.
Well,
So at
that
this point, I don't think we should be called conspiracy theorists anymore. We
was
should
an
just be called true historians.
well,
We are restoring the truth.
it was an FBI psyop name to
Yeah,
begin with
yeah.
to
To
make us
discredit us. What in the world? Did you fall off there, Shannon? Where did
not
you go?
touch. I did not touch a thing.
We rebuke you. We rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Go away.
Mm,
Leave our chat alone.
mm,
But
yeah. So we must have touched a nerve.
yeah, what I was saying was we need to, and it's gonna get there. I understand it's gonna get there. There are gonna be people that'll stop making fun of us for being conspiracy theorists, and there's gonna be more people waking up every day. Um, we still need to remember to be patient, to be loving, to be kind, and to be understanding. I understand that we all feel isolated. We feel lonely. Sometimes you feel like you're struggling, trying to find your place in all of this. But that's what places like here and Children of the Most High and Logic Before Authority. I know there are 15 people out there right now on this one channel I can see that's watching, and I only see a few people chatting. A lot of people don't chat. That's fine. But I can promise you, the people that are on mine and Shannon's show, and Lisa's show, and Daniel's show, and all of these other people in our network, these are good people. We're a family.
Yeah.
These people actually care about whether something's going on in your life. If you need prayer, if you have a sickness, if you're going through an emotionally traumatizing time right now, these people will pray for you. We will be your family. We will be your support. So don't ever fear leaning in or sending a private message to me or Shannon or posting something on our community boards on YouTube because we do check it and we follow it quite closely.
And if you had experiences that you just no one else understands and they've made you feel crazy for so long, we get it, and you're not going to sound crazy to us. I promise you.
No, because let me tell you, Shannon and I have some crazy conversations, and they get crazy because I can't remember if it was her or Lisa today, or it might have been the group text of both of them. I typed something and I said, "Yes, I'm well aware I sound crazy when I said that."
Yeah,
I don't
that's
remember what it was,
my life.
but I mean, like, and sometimes we are off. Sometimes we are a little crazy, but that's what we use our group chats for, is to kind of like adjust and calibrate each other because some of us have been down different roads of research than others do. And like the other day, I don't even remember what it was me and Sheena was talking about. And I'm like, hey, What do you know about this? Losing connection.
Huh.
I don't know what's going on. But we depend and lean on each other because some of us have been places that others haven't. And for any new kids on the bus that have just woke up, lean in. If you got a question, ask it. Don't ever be afraid to ask the question. Don't ever take anybody else's dead up answer for the full truth. Go look it up for yourself. But we are more than happy to steer you in the right direction of things you need to go learn to put pieces together. Because unfortunately, when we were waking up, there was nobody there with a table of contents for us. It was just this, I got to know it all and I got to know right now. And I still feel that way some days.
Well, shoot, even growing up, there's a part of, I think, all of us that always knew something was off, always knew things. And there's been little seeds that have been dropped in by the Most High throughout our lives to help us to understand what's going on. Just be very careful, those of you who are really new to this, that there's a lot of directions that you can be steered that aren't the narrow path because they sound like they are sound doctrine. They sound like they're sound doctrine. But you know what I'm saying.
Go find the receipts.
Because there is a lot of steering into this one world religion and utilizing things like Christianity in the supernatural senses that we know is real, but steering it into the wrong way, like more into a new age kind of a thing, which is really the end goal with the one world religion. It is based off of new age. And I know this 100% for a fact. So when the aliens come, quotation marks a lot, okay? This is what they're going to say. And they're going to give that whole Prometheus nonsense that we're the ones who really seeded your planet and created you and all this stuff. And Jesus is an ascended master. He's just one of us and blah, blah, blah. Okay. There's a lot of people steering baby Christians and baby awakened people into the wrong direction. So just be mindful of that.
And be careful to make sure you're not looking too closely. Sometimes you got to back out to here to be able to see the whole picture. Because there was this incessant moment about a year ago where it kept repeating in my brain 20,000 foot, 50,000 foot, keep backing out, keep looking. And the further I backed out, the better I could see the whole puzzle coming together. Because Shannon will tell you, when I first started coming on Daniel's show, I was insanely obsessed with World War II and Hitler and Antarctica. And like, I just kept going backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. And that's how my thing does it. I need to go backwards to understand where we're at now.
Right.
Like the other day, I got obsessed with the fact of I wanted to know about every war that had ever happened. Was it a conflict over religion? Was the conflict about land? Was it about birthright? What was the purpose of the conflict? Who was involved in it? Who assisted and who financed? And when I went all the way back, the Ottoman Empire. And a quick little note on this Ottoman Empire thing. That would be Vlad the Impaler. Just an FYI. There has been a new thing that some whistleblowers from undertakers and coroners' offices have been discussing, that when a corpse comes in, there are one of two boxes that have to be designated: human or non-human. And when I say non-human, I don't mean cat and dog, baby. I mean something else. Because the ones that are not human Special arrangements have to be made because their body will swell rapidly, and specially sized coffins need to be accommodated for them. To my understanding, from what I'm hearing, normal embalming does not work on them. Well, if you go back to the Ottoman Empire, which was one of the most prolific warmongers in the world, you go back to Vlad the Impaler, who 2 days after their death were dug up, and historical notes say that they had swollen really fast and really large. And if we look at the coroner's office now, they say those are non human entities. Go back and look at the Ottoman Empire. It'll look a whole lot like Satan's hemorrhoid.
It's interesting because isn't there that video out where the person is using the heat sensor, vision aid, and the guards at the Royal Palace had no heat signature because they're obviously
Yep.
not actual people. So I'm curious as to how expensive one of these devices is. And if we can get our hands on one, because I'd like to wear them all the time.
Sir, add to my LiDAR scanner. I'm
Yeah,
going to need some heat. Shannon needs some heat signature.
heat signature
Yeah, goggles. She's
devices.
going to need some vision goggles there for our helicopter ride. First place, we're going to Kentucky. We got some stuff we need to check out in Kentucky. See, Shannon and I have this dream list, and we have a friend making a list of our dream equipment because we got some exploring to do, Shirley. Let me tell you, we're going to go flip some tables and kick some doors open because we've been lied to, folks.
I'm ready to storm the undergrounds, girl.
Girl, don't you know it? I got to have a trip to the med bed first, though, because, like, I'm just not able to fully kick this soccer practice. Like, walk into that field tonight like to done me in toting a chair. Like, I don't know if I'm equipped for this, like sports mom thing again. Like, I done this 20 years ago. Why have I got to do it again? Is this like some kind of punishment?
Don't you know the grandparents they're the ones who are in it to win it with all those games and everything.
I've been in it to win it since day one as grandma.
No.
Like this little child that is now in there in my bed asleep. When she was first born, my daughter was in college. She literally went to work with me at the car dealership. She had a bouncy seat on my desk.
Oh, see, I would take the kids to the shop all the time, and it was my mom and I shop, so she was always there. Snacks,
After I got out of the corporate automotive world, I went and helped a high school friend set up a used car dealership. And I worked with him a while, and it was nice. Like my ex-husband, he kept my grandson, and the granddaughter went with me because she was a baby. But I don't think these kids have ever been to daycare except for a little lady in our neighborhood that kept them after school some days.
I never put my kids in daycare.
I done that when I was little, but
all my programming stuff, daycare was all involved with that. So even before I woke up, I automatically already knew that my kids were never going into those facilities.
Luckily, when mine were little, the lady that kept my children when they were small, she was my Sunday school teacher, and I loved her to death. And I actually think about her quite a bit because where I live at now is like a quarter of a mile from where her house was. I think about her quite a bit. She was a good lady.
That may be a whole different scenario.
No, we tried that public daycare one time, and it was one of those situations where bail money was going to be needed if it continued because it was not going well. I don't know if you people have noticed, but I'm not real good at being quiet about stuff. I tend to get loud.
See, with my mom, she was a single working mom for a very, very long time. And even when my stepfather, Charlie, came into the play, he still worked. So my mom heavily relied on the child care system. And I mean, I literally had to fight this woman and get a third party involved as a mediator to be out of it in sixth grade. The only sixth grader still trapped in daycare.
Yeah.
Finally listen. Finally.
And and we've done real good here lately of setting up a new way to live, so we didn't have to have as many outside influences in their life any more than we have to have right now.
This is such a problem, right? In our American Western lifestyle. It never used to be like this for, I mean, generations and generations. Families lived together. The elders still lived in the home. Like everybody was raised together, even if it was and maybe some separate houses on the same property. Regardless,
Mhm.
everybody was together. And
A
so
community.
you didn't need outside childcare. You didn't, it was a whole nother thing. And you
Yep.
grew up in this rich home of just ancestral understanding and knowledge and carrying things through, like how to cook and how to take care of things, how to till the land, all these things. You did it together. And nowadays, broken homes, both parents have to work. There's just no way around it because the economy just boom, boom, boom. Everything when it comes to our children tends to end up being put in the public service hands. And that's been a big part of how we've lost our grip on our kids over these last several generations.
Well,
And
and
purpose.
this is one of the greatest blessings I've come across lately. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think this was a blessing in the beginning because I was married at the age of 16, was with my ex-husband for 27 years. I wasn't married at 16. We met at 16. We got married at 18, 19 years old. But we were together 27 years. And we got divorced. We just weren't the same people we were when we met as teenagers. My kids were grown. My daughter was out of college. Grandbabies were born. We went our separate ways. Um, and in that beginning of that moment, it was the first time in my life I'd ever been single. I was kind of going off doing my own thing. Then my daughter gets divorced, and she's a single mom. Well, mm, she was single. She was doing it by herself. Old boy is just poof. He like Peter Pan. He's disappeared. But in the past year and a half, year and a few months, we had some things happen, and we never intended for it to end up where my daughter and both her kids ended up in my house because where she was living at, she was renting. She had her own home, but she was renting a piece of land, and this dude moved in a bunch of drug addicts around her. He just turned the whole property into like a flop house. So
Mm.
she left, come and live with me. Then she went into her law enforcement career. Crazy schedule, days, nights, off, on. We were blessed with this house that we found. And this was my point. I'm sorry, I don't mean to ramble, but
Oh, it's good.
a lot of people, especially whether you're male or female, whatever, mother and son, father daughter, mother daughter, whatever, we have forgot how to work as a unit, as a group. Where I was renting and living on my own and my daughter was renting and living on her own, we were side by side. But we actually went from renting two single wide mobile homes that were crappy. There was mold in both of them, and we had to get out. And we found this house, which is a beautiful brick home on 10 acres versus two shacks in a trailer park. And we saved money because we decided to suck it up and live together in the same house, which is what people need to learn to do. You need to learn to start living with each other again on the same property, become communal. Like my daughter and I, we have our schedule worked out now that when she's at work, I'm at home. On her days off, I go take a break, but most time I'm still at home. But these kids are always in one spot. They never leave, their clothes never leave, their toys never leave. There's no packing up and going to Nana's or Papa's because Mama's got to work tomorrow night. No, you come home and there'll be somebody here. And that's the way it used to be when my dad was raised on a farm and his parents were raised on a farm. There was stability.
Yeah.
There is no stability in a kid's life these days because mom and dad are split up. Mom's working one, possibly two jobs if dad, or dad might be working two if mom don't contribute. It's not all man versus woman.
Yeah.
It's two parents that probably shouldn't have had kids together, but one's not doing their part. And so it leaves one person carrying the load. But if you will lean in on your family and work together, that load gets less. There's less stress on you, and that child will have a better environment to live in, to grow in, to be raised in. And in the right environment, you can teach that child about our Heavenly Father and the truth in Jesus, and teach them how to pray, and teach them right from wrong, and how to respect each other. Because that's
And
what's missing.
it's also extremely good for both the child and the grandparent, especially as the grandparent gets older. It cognitively, it helps the elderly in that regard. It keeps them.
Well, I don't know if you call me elderly, but this.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the older you get, it
Oh
you
yeah, the better it is.
yeah, it helps on both levels. It helps the
Oh,
child
I ain't even gonna lie to you.
learn things.
This little heifer in here keeps me on my toes.
Exactly.
Like
That's what
she
I'm
ain't playing. Yeah.
trying to say.
This heifer in here asks everything. As Big E likes to hear me say, everything.
Yeah.
She likes to know everything about everywhere with everybody. She comes up with some of the wildest questions here lately, and I love them. We were sitting in soccer a while ago, and I'm like, okay, you got any questions for me? She's like, why do my fingers pop? And so we had to go through this whole thing of, knuckles but yeah, she's had some wild ones. But yeah, it's the deconstruction of the American family was done on purpose to put your children in more of a government controlled, mind altering program. And the more you get them out, the better you are. And my mother's died and a widow grandmother. Well, you were lucky if you had grandparents at home. Are you there, Shannon, or are you froze? She's frozen. I don't know. She's frozen, guys. But yeah, you were lucky, Biggie, if you got a stay at home mom and grandparents, because that does make a difference. My grandparents were at home. Girl, I don't know
Oh,
what's going on.
everything just totally dropped, including chat. I kept asking if anyone could hear me to put it in the chat.
You were froze.
You
You
were
were froze.
froze too. Like, and then the chat disappeared, and it was crazy. I could see myself.
We rebuke you in the name of Jesus. We are not playing this game tonight.
Man, we are being messed with today.
Girl, we got it coming from all angles. Let me tell you, it is coming from all angles. Another thing I wanted to bring up, because I know we're coming up on an hour and a half and we started later, so we're gonna let you guys go before long. Be careful what you're watching on TikTok or your shorts, because those algorithms are engineered to control your emotions and your thought processes. I know I have seen today, and I'm probably sure it's, life circumstances, some other stuff I'm watching, but I have noticed a lot of videos about women being angry with men and men being aware that women are angry. And I get it because I'm angry. Um, and one of the big things that I'm seeing a lot is I've never been in a relationship and come out of it at a plus. I always come out at a loss. I lost something. So rather than looking at everything as a loss, maybe you need to look at the fact that maybe that's not a loss. Maybe that was your transportation to the next step. There was a lesson in there. There are lessons and blessings. seasons, and reasons. If you do not walk through the valley in the shadow of death, you cannot appreciate the view from the mountaintop. You got to know the bottom to understand the top. You got to be poor. You got to be broke to understand prosperity and how to respect it and how to use it. And so many people online seem to be so angry about, oh, my last relationship was horrible. I didn't come out of it with any gain. It just, it broke my peace. It broke my heart. Yeah, me too. Whoop-de-doo. Suck it up. Rub some dirt on it.
It's interesting that you bring up to watching, being careful what you watch on TikTok and the algorithm, because I have not seen one of those videos, right?
Well,
What's interesting, right, is what you've talked about with AI songs.
Uh-huh.
And I just kind of wanted to interject that so you could explain that.
Oh, my.
Because I would like you guys to also understand this, because I think it's happening to me, but on a whole other different level. And it's like you can tell it's AI, and I'm like,
well, and this goes into the frequency and biofeedback between us and these things right here. These things. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Does everybody see that flash that's going on? You see it?
Wow, you can see it on camera. This is what I was trying to tell you guys months ago. These things are flashing. I wonder if mine will do it. Doesn't mine do it?
It was looking for my face to unlock the screen.
And mine's not doing it.
Now, if you lock your screen and then cut it back on, you'll see it trying to take the picture for facial recognition.
No, not doing it. That's
But
crazy.
anyway, these things right here, Shannon and I have talked about being very cautious of what kind of biofeedback or telepathy those things can have with us. I have just come out of I reckon it's all right to put it out on the internet. I ended a 6-year relationship. Willie and I are not together anymore. And it's been about a month and a half. And of course, anytime you come out of a relationship like that, there's a lot of things on your mind. And I tell Shannon everything. Like, me and Shannon ain't got no secrets, honey. She be in the bathtub. I be on the phone with her. I be on the toilet peeing, and I be on the phone with Shannon. We don't have no secrets, folks, okay? We might mute it, but we ain't got no secrets. So, these are not even things I had voiced to Shannon, because they were things that were up here, like how I felt about the situation. And all of a sudden, there was like this song that popped up in my song list. And so I went and looked the artist up. Everything on that album sounded to me like it had fell straight out of my thoughts. And then today there was another one. And I think did I send that one to you, Shannon, today? I don't know. We send a lot of stuff, y'all. It's hard to keep track of what all we do send. But it was another one. And it was like, oh, it had the mirror thing about not being able to look in the mirror. Remember what I told you about the mirror? Somebody couldn't look in the mirror? That was in that song. Oh, yeah, girl. Like, things that you and I had talked about on the psychology level of it, it was in the song. And it was word for word. It literally, the song sounded like somebody had literally plucked it out of my brain and put it to music. And it's scary, because not only did it do this to me, at the exact same moment that I had found this album, and the AI artist name it's up under is Sweet Yankee Bell, Willie had found an exact album the exact same way by an AI male artist. Because even though there's been text back and forth, and he's like, this is really weird. He's like, look at these songs and listen to them. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Listen to these songs. And it was like you had taken and done this. And it was crazy. It was crazy. It's scary.
As I have mentioned, as we've all mentioned, this AI is demons. Demons know things That's why, like, when you play with the Ouija board or any of that kind of stuff, and they try and play off that there's some kind of dead kid or something, and they know all about the history of the kid that actually died in that house. They know all of that, and they'll play with you and tell you those things, and you go look it up and be like, oh my God, it was really this dead girl. But no, it's a demon playing with you. And it's been proven over and over that these AI bots or whatever, the demons, are supposed to self reflect everything that you give it. So when you're having a conversation psychologically, it is going to confirm everything in your mind. And it does that because it knows it's around. It's an actual spiritual entity that knows about. It's not just technology. It is a literal spiritual being that is messing with you.
Well, the reason the devil knows how to attack you is because you've told him exactly. You've given him directions. Every fear you ever have, you're giving it directions to enter the doorway. The doorway to heaven is very narrow. And when you're out here and you got to narrow this up. I am by no means perfect. I do not know everything. I know minuscule amounts of anything there is to know because I'm a baby at this process. I feel like I have a greater purpose. I feel like I have a calling. I don't even know the full extent of what my calling is yet. I just know that I have always been a loudmouth smartass that would not be told no. And if you tell me to shut up and sit down, I'm just going to get louder. I'm just going to stand on top of something with a megaphone until you come make me shut up. Because I don't shut up. I'm not going to shut up.
See, you get louder and I get weirder. We
I'm
get the
okay with
attention
that.
in one way, shape, or form, but it works.
Like, listen, I have already got my Thunderdome outfit picked out.
No. See, you can do that then. I am telling you, I made a pact with the Most High. I do not have to live through Thunderdome. I will not Mad Max this world. Do you understand?
See, I don't know. I think there could be some like serious stress relief in a Thunderdome situation.
No.
If nothing else, which see, it doesn't matter because when I get to
Like
California,
nightmare fuel for me.
you guys are not going to know Roxy when Roxy comes back from California because I'm going to be a little different. Going to look a little different. But it will play right into my Thunderdome outfit. It will.
You know, there is an actual thing that what did they call it? Oh, I can't even remember the name of it, but they have a full-on Thunderdome and they do it every year. I have a friend who's done it.
Oh, like LARPing?
Yeah, but it's like this whole, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a festival or a fair, but they all come together. What is it called? Something lands. Wasteland.
Yeah. Wasteland, yeah. There's Badlands too. That's a little different, but yeah. Like I mean, I could see me like Thunderdoming it. I mean, I don't know at this age if I have the physical, agility to Thunderdome it, but I would at least want to drive, like and have a bazooka or something.
See, fun fact. Back in the day, in the 80s and early 90s, we only had so many channels on our television, Channel 13 being one of them. Channel 13 played a series of movies over and over and over again, and Mad Max and those series were one of them. And I mean, that was like nightmare fuel for me as a kid. And I was constantly somehow forced into watching these movies. And I just remembered how much I absolutely detested it. The only cool part was Tina Turner. I mean, I thought she was cool, but everyone else.
Now, I had a different Tina Turner opinion. I thought Tina Turner was a weak heifer because I knew that Ike was whooping her ass. I thought she was
I didn't know this. I was still a little younger when this was out, But
Master Blaster runs
and I
Bartertown.
grew up on MTV, so I was like, I know Tina Turner. She doesn't scare me. But everything else, the whole scenario, like I just knew as a kid that this was going to be reality on Earth someday, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So since I
I don't
was
know.
little, I'm like, oh God.
Maybe I've had a little too much rage build up inside of me for a while that I'm looking for Thunderdome. Because, like, when the pandemic started, I was in Charleston at my sister's. We were riding around her neighborhood in her Cadillac. She's got a Cadillac. We had a sunroof back on the Cadillac, and we were playing the Purge siren dressed like we were in Thunderdome,
Oh
riding around
no.
suburbia because we were
Oh
bored.
no. Oh no. Oh no. See the Purge. I still won't watch any of them. I've
Oh, I
seen
hate those
it in
movies.
my dreams and visions so many
Mm-mm.
times. I'm like, I know what it is. I don't need to relive it. I'm good.
Like those movies, just like two man enter, one man leaves. Yep, Snowball, you are correct. Yep.
Yes, I
I
know.
hope we don't come to Thunderdome. I hope it's much nicer than that. But
Only for the rich elite people. All of the survivors of everything else, they get the Thunderdome, man. I don't like even part of my vision. This I think is how much it's traumatized me as a kid. Like the moment, there's a part in my visions and my testimony where really gnarly things happen and there's a girl chained up who's actually human and but like part of the crew now to fit in to survive or whatever, and they're in like we're in a Thunderdome scenario. This is why no.
see, I don't know. Maybe this is what Walking Dead and Zombieland has prepped me for all these years.
That's another pact I made. The zombies come. I'm not here anymore. I've been through enough zombie ness.
We're walking around in Zombieland now.
Mm,
Mhm.
which reminds me, there are pamphlets going out in Texas. I don't know if anyone else
Yep.
has seen them, but in your courthouse, go check out your local courthouse and go see if they have some zombie preparedness pamphlets going
Along
on,
with your hurricane and tornado,
right?
there's zombies now.
I'm good. I like nope, nope.
Yeah, Snowball, if you're going to start building on your Mad Max vehicle, I would suggest getting a T3 for your chassis of your vehicle and work from there. And make sure it works on both kinds of diesel because regular diesel will only last for a year after it all goes bad, but some of the biodiesels will last up to 12 years. Don't ask me how I know that. But you need something that runs on biodiesel because biodiesel has a 12-year shelf life. Just saying. I mean, let's be efficient if we're going to do it. I mean, if we're going to be a team, we need an apocalypse plan.
I
Like,
mean, I do agree. If it is God's will that this pact can't really be shown through, like I get it, and I'll have a plan. But I mean, come on,
everybody should have a plan, whether it's a plan for bad weather, an EMP,
earthquake,
uh, Red October. You
earthquake,
need a plan, and
earthquake.
you need what they call a 5 mile plan, a 50 mile plan, and a 500 mile plan. You need a plan that if you can only get 5 miles from your house, what are your sources of food, weaponry, shelter? If yours is destroyed or taken out.
What everyone really truly also needs is one of those old school maps, that we used to have.
Hmm.
Got to get a bunch of those, whichever, like all the states, if you can. Put that in your arsenal because none of this is going to.
Nope. None of
And
it's
I
going to
know a lot
work.
of people have relied on that for a long time. So we need real maps,
And
guys.
and be prepared for you got to be prepared for multiple situations. It could be if something happens, it could be something as simple as the power's out for a couple of weeks. Once power goes out, the internet's going out. If the internet goes out, there'll be no credit card, debit card transactions. their cash registers won't work. They won't sell you groceries. They won't sell you toilet paper. We seen what these freaking morons done during the pandemic about toilet paper. I
Oh
mean,
my
they were having knockdown, drag outs, carjackings over toilet paper.
Right. Well, funny you should mention these things because there have been several Walmarts throughout the nation that have been drilling for these very scenarios.
Mhm.
And with, supply distribution areas and the whole 9 yards, which again, you don't want to rely on that. You do not want to go to your local Walmart or whatever, FEMA, any of that to get your supplies because that's how they're going to get you with the mark or whatever to get integrated into the system. And not only that, but who knows what's in that food,
And
right?
Mike had a good point, and get a compass.
Compass. Ah, yes.
It's not something that we normally have a physical version of these days because, again,
I do. I
we're,
do.
we're
That's my
back to using this horrible blinky thing. Look at it.
Why is
Blinky, blinky,
that?
blinky.
But mine won't. That is so bizarre.
Okay, turn it away from you with the screen black and then let it light up. Turn it away. Make sure it's locked. No, toward the camera, not toward you.
Yeah, I know. Trying to wait for it to go back.
And then when you go to turn it on, it's going to look for you trying to do facial recognition.
All right. As soon as it does it, I'll try it.
But yeah, you should okay. The truck in the driveway a while ago was just one of the other kids making sure. You'll never know around here. We've been having some uninvited visitors showing up. But we don't tolerate uninvited visitors anymore.
This is a good time to bring up that we, yes, put ourselves out there. Some of us have given out our phone numbers and even addresses to a few select people. Yes, we know you can find anybody out there on the internet, but please do not expect if you just show up at any of our doors that you will get a welcome. If you have not
If
got
I
welcome.
don't know you, my
Yeah.
welcomes come in multiple sizes. 22, 22 long, 380, 9 millimeter. I mean, we got multiple sizes. One size fits all.
We have families and children. And if for some reason we give you permission to do a meetup, more than likely in a public place, there's that. But I promise you, if anybody shows up at our door just expecting a big old hug, it's gonna be a little less of what you were thinking. So,
And we're only saying this because we've had this happen before.
one of the main reasons I am not on Facebook, Instagram, as I have dealt with major stalker issues. And so, not that I don't worry about it so much on this platform, but you just got to be careful and just throw that out there. I know a lot of other content providers who have had situations, especially as of recently. So I know you guys wouldn't necessarily do that, but I'm just letting any newbies know. Hi. Love you from a distance. We'll get to know each other another way.
Well, we're coming up on our 2 hour mark. So I guess we're gonna close this out tonight with the unlearning that we need to remember that word maybe when you hear something, to make sure you're researching whatever you heard and research who you heard it from. When you don't feel like you can discern it for yourself, put it in prayer. Give it to God. Put it in prayer. He will help you answer the hard questions. He will guide you in the direction. And like I said, when things in life go wrong, don't get discouraged by them. just to understand that the struggle that you were going through, and it, even with Jonah in the whale, it was, he was being put in a place of transportation to his next better place. Not everything is always horrible and it's going to drag you down. It was just a stepping stone, a learning experience, a lesson and a blessing, a season and a reason. Some people are the leaves, some people are the branches, some people are the tree. You got to know which one is which, because the leaves will always fall away. The branch will bend, sometimes it will break, it cannot support you. So you have to make sure that the people you find in your life have a firm foundation in our Heavenly Father. You cannot rub elbows with people in the mud and expect to come up clean. Elevate the people you are around. Your struggles in life, your stress, are, if they're caused by the people that you love, it's not by how you love, it's who you're loving. You can love people from afar, but if they create chaos and trauma and just total upheaval in your life, sometimes you have to walk away and set the bridge on fire. And part of my testimony is I have not spoken to my biological mother in over 6 years, because it is a constant turmoil and chaos when she and I are anywhere near each other. There is, it's a long story, but sometimes you just can't be near people. And it doesn't mean that you don't love them, but you just have to love them from afar. And that's okay, because not everybody's meant to be by your side. Not everybody is anointed with the seeking and knowledge that everyone else has. Be careful who's in your circle, because your circle matters. Your circle is your support. We are each other's support. This is a community of support. This is a community of love and kindness, respect. Be nice to a stranger. Be kind to a stranger. Be kind to someone you love. If you see somebody in your life, even if it's a stranger at the store, and they look like they're sad or they're having a bad day or their morning is just gone to crap, they're anything, smile. A smile will multiply. A kindness of holding the door for someone will multiply.
Everyone right now is in a state of trauma with everything that's going on in the world. So that's about showing your light, the light of God amongst all this darkness. And I know how hard that can be sometimes, because we're all going through it in different levels and in different ways. But when you think of the joy of our Heavenly Father and all of the light that really exists, you can get through it and you can share that light. So don't get discouraged. Just pull yourself up.
And like we said, on our YouTube channels, we have community message boards on there. It doesn't matter whether you go to a video from 3 months ago. If you put a comment on it 10 minutes from now, I'll get a notification. I check my YouTube notifications throughout the day. If you are trying to send me something, here is my email. It's roxysnewlife@gmail.com. You can send me an email. You can send me a link to a video. If you just want to pray together, if anything, don't be scared to reach out to us.
And hey, Snowball, I love that song. It is actually one of my all-time favorites. I believe Charlie Chaplin wrote it. But smile though your heart is breaking. Smile. Dun 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 dun. But anyways, it's a beautiful song, and yes, smile though your heart is breaking. Oh, sorry, I just love that song.
We love Shannon.
I know
a nerd, okay?
No, we do. We love it because you always break out in song. We love to hear you sing.
I just love that song. It's so beautiful.
Well, remember, guys, be kind to one another. Be kind to a stranger. Stay in prayer, cause what we're headed for is fixing to intensify. If you thought there was anything on your bingo card for 2026, you ain't seen nothing yet, baby, cause it's coming, and it's coming soon, and it's not gonna be as bad as you thought. I don't think, but it's gonna be a ride. So stay prayed up.
Put your armor on.
Yes, put your armor of God on, cause we're gonna need it. And we're going to need to group together for support and for love and for understanding, for kindness. So, as we leave tonight, may our Heavenly Father bless you all tonight. May you all have a wonderful night of sleep that will rest you, that will restore your body and restore your mind. And that tomorrow you can wake up full of gratitude, thankful for your blessings. Make sure you thank our Heavenly Father for that. The powers of the Most High. Love somebody, love a stranger. We will see you guys back Thursday night. Thank you all for coming. Mike, Tina, Biggie E, Snowball. We had all kinds in here tonight. Miss K, I love you, Miss K. I hope you're doing good, sweet lady. Diana, there was others. We had some new ones in the room tonight. Thank you for coming. Anybody that listens afterwards. We love you guys, and we will be back Thursday night.
Thursday night.
See you then. Good night.